longer than the 4 years of Donald Trump's first term. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Lisa Desjardins in Baltimore.
Stay with us. Coming up on the NewsHour, Bruce Springsteen on his bouts of depression, his love of books, and President-elect Trump. But first, a story about an effort in Flint, Michigan to help its youngest residents cope with the possible effects of lead-contaminated water. It's part of our weekly series on education, Making the Grade.
Get those arms moving, circles. Everyone reach up to the sky one more time.
More than a year after alarmingly high levels of lead were found in Flint, Michigan's water supply, the city has opened a free, all-day early childhood center for children 2 months to 5 years of age.
It's for any children currently living in Flint or were living in Flint when the lead exposure was at its worst. V for me, T for you.
Bob Barnett, a dean of education for the University of Michigan in Flint, helped create the new early learning program.
We made phone calls. We went door to door to every single neighborhood in the city. Would you like to dance with me?
Barnett had a mission to reach families with the youngest children. That's because lead is a neurotoxin that targets the developing brain.
What do you have to eat?
A child's brain doubles in size from 0 to 2. And when you have these insults to the developing brain at such a young age, it really impacts that entire trajectory of learning.
Good girl, closer to your heart.
Mona Hanna-Atisha, a pediatrician who discovered elevated lead levels in Flint's children, says there's a well-established link between lead exposure and learning disabilities.
Lead has been shown to drop children's IQ, so it impacts how they think and it impacts how they act. It's been linked to attention deficit disorder, impulsivity, many other developmental delays. So it has these life course altering consequences.
Have you seen one of these animals before?
Yeah.
More than 5,000 of Flint's youngest children were put in danger when the city switched to a new water source, the Flint River, in the spring of 2014, causing lead from aging pipes to leach into the system. Since then, Flint officials have switched back to Lake Huron for their water supply. And although lead levels have been dramatically reduced, residents are still urged to use bottled or filtered water for everything from drinking to bathing. The lead exposure lasted only 18 months, but health officials say a threat still exists.
Imagine these little babies who are on formula, and all they're getting is this lead-tainted water mixed with powdered formula for the entire year. Not that they're all going to have problems, and we're not going to wait to see who's going to have problems.
Hanna-Atisha sees the new child care facility as a needed intervention.
The most important medication that I can prescribe to our Flint kids is early education. People are like, well, you're a doctor. Don't you want, like, healthcare stuff? I'm like, no, I want early education.
The center is an expansion of a high-quality program called Great Expectations Early Childhood, run by the University of Michigan in Flint.
We know that lead exposure, especially in our youngest children, birth to 5, affects their cognition and their behavior. We also know that the impact of early childhood education and intervention can counter that.
The free program has been able to accommodate 240 children. Another 220 families remain on the wait list. Major donations from 10 foundations, as well as millions from the state of Michigan, cover tuition costs as high as $15,000 to $20,000 per child per year.
What is this book?
Joyce Sanders says she and her husband could not have afforded the program for their 3-year-old daughter, Nyla.
M-U-G. What sound does M make?
Sanders is anxious to protect her child's ability to learn.
She's so incredibly bright, and it's terrifying to think that this exposure could take that away from her. It is terrifying. And I'm trying to do everything I can to give her the resources so that she can hold on to that.
Girls, do you want some water?
Nyla and her 5-year-old sister Kaya both tested positive for low levels of lead in their blood.
There you go.